Good morning, this is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Tuesday, June 28, 2022. Fire potential impacts for the next couple of days are shown here. For today, we're continuing to expect very warm temperatures and low relative humidities over much of southwest Idaho, Nevada, and northwest Utah. And we also have some gusty winds in place in this orange color over southwest Idaho and northern and western Nevada. Isolated thunderstorms expected once again in Utah and up into southeast Idaho and western Wyoming. And then on Wednesday, we'll see the heat move a little bit further south and east, and some winds continuing over western and southern Nevada and southwest Utah. Storms will increase a bit in Utah on Wednesday, with a bigger increase for wet thunderstorms over much of the higher elevations of central and eastern Utah on Thursday. And then the winds are limited to just far southern tip of the Great Basin on Thursday. Precipitation and lightning from yesterday is shown here. We had a kind of a smaller amount of thunderstorms yesterday over southern and southeast Utah, with some light precipitation and lightning included. Fire activity remains fairly steady with generally light IA. Most of these fires are staying on the smaller side, below 20 acres or so. We are starting to see fires pop up a little bit further north in Idaho, which shows that the vegetation is beginning to cure up there. Precipitation from the past 14 days is shown here with inches on the left and the percent of normal on the right. We've got this large area of above normal precipitation over the desert southwest, and we were seeing pockets of that over eastern Utah, but generally dry over Idaho and Nevada over the past few weeks. ERCs are shown here for a couple of zones here, southwest Idaho. The values are currently right around normal for the time of year, but we've seen a very rapid increase in ERCs as that air mass has dried out and warmed up, and especially this week with those very hot temperatures up there, the ERCs are climbing for the first couple of days here. Further south over eastern Nevada, same story. Those values have been pretty high recently and will remain high with the heat and the very low relative humidities we're expecting to remain in place over much of Nevada. This morning's satellite imagery shows a ridge of high pressure remaining in place over the Great Basin, keeping temperatures hot and the relative humidities quite low, especially over Nevada and portions of Idaho. We're seeing a low pressure system move into the Pacific Northwest, which is increasing some wind speeds over northern Nevada, and will push this high pressure a little bit to the east, allowing some moisture back up into Utah on Wednesday, Thursday timeframe. So for this afternoon, we do have some high risk in place for the winds over northern Nevada and southwest Idaho, where conditions are very dry and breezy. Minimum relative humidities are in the single digits across much of Nevada and southwest Idaho, and a little bit higher further north and east. You can see the image on the right showing those afternoon wind gusts up to 40 miles an hour plus there in northern Nevada and southwest Idaho. Higher elevations of eastern Idaho will also see some gusts, but fuels are not critical up there yet. On Wednesday, the ridge shifts slightly to the east as that low moves along the Canadian border here. That will allow some deeper monsoonal moisture to move up into central and eastern Utah for an increase in thunderstorm activity, especially starting Wednesday and into Thursday. We'll still see some breezy winds on Wednesday, mainly over far western Nevada, and then portions of southern Nevada as well, and the gusty outflow winds will accompany any thunderstorms that develop. So the probability of precip on Wednesday increases over the higher elevations of Utah and the Arizona Strip. This is a bit of an increase from what we'll be seeing today. And a further increase in that moisture on Thursday as the ridge continues to slide just to the east. A good chance of a wetter type thunderstorm event on Thursday in central and eastern Utah, still remaining dry over the west. So kind of a tale of two halves here. We have very dry air mass over Nevada, low relative humidities in the single digits, and then a pretty moist air mass in Utah, especially the central and eastern half of the state, with a good chance of a thunderstorm accompanied by some precipitation on Thursday. 3-day precip totals are shown here. Again, a pretty good little monsoonal surge up into Utah in that Wednesday to Thursday time frame, possibly up to a quarter to a half an inch. These blues up here in the Uintas are closer to a half an inch of precip there. On Friday, we'll begin to see another trough developing off the Pacific coast. The ridge hangs out, so still very warm temperatures on Friday with a little bit of lingering moisture in eastern Utah once again. And as we make our way into the weekend, that low swings closer to the coast, and that will increase the wind speeds over Nevada and bring in some drier air, continue to bring drier air into Nevada. We don't have any high risk yet for this little wind event coming this weekend, but we may be adding some in. On Sunday, that low swings inland and should increase some wind speeds, continue to increase wind speeds over Nevada and western Utah. So we'll be keeping our eye out for that. And we will also see some cooler temperatures move into the Idaho as that low moves in for Sunday. On Monday, that low recedes just a bit for generally drier southwest flow across the geographic area. 7-day precip totals are shown here. Most of the precip in Utah is coming in the short term in that Wednesday to Thursday time frame. And then we do see a little bit of moisture moving into the Pacific Northwest with that next low next weekend. And some moisture may accompany that low into Idaho in that time frame. The extended outlook for July 5th through the 11th is calling for below normal temperatures all along the west coast to include Nevada, fairly rare for this time of year. And we do see below normal precipitation encompassing the entire Great Basin because our weather pattern's a little bit off. The ridge is displaced quite a bit to the east, and so we will be shut off from that monsoonal flow as we head into the second week of July. And this concludes today's fire potential briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.